So let me just say hello there. Hey, how's it going? So remember we were talking about this. The avatars weren't working last time, and I kept trying to make it work. And I'm like, how did Larry come up with an avatar so quickly? So out of the blue, this started working for me. I saw the avatar app. I put something together. I couldn't make it work. I can't even make it work in their company. Apparently, it's blocked. But when I just came in, I said, let me come in as my company with my stuff from the outside, and then all of a sudden I'm there. I'm just gonna just turn off my blur. I was just gonna turn off my blur. Like you see you have a nice little blur item that's going over here. I was just gonna do something like that, and I said, what's this? Avatars? What's this? So I'm like, let's see, what can I do about this over here? And I said, yes, avatar. Oh, no. Oh, by the way, those are features of the avatar system. I wish I could show you a picture of this over here. In fact, maybe I could share my screen and you could almost see it. I'm going to share my screen really quick. And
I see your screen.
people.
Yes.
I see people, and these are. This is my. That's
your
my
desktop with
my
licenses.
toy account, but that's
Yeah.
licenses that are in a dev situation. And let me go ahead and make this big so you see this over here now. See these over here? There it is. So I can do things like thinking. I can do things like, tears of joy. Oh, surprise. What is robot dance? There we go. What? Something called
Yeah.
kawaii or kawaii, or we're not sure exactly how that works. And it could be, or this one, I like this. Yikes. The mini wave. The touchdown. Hey. And then where is everybody? Okay. So really cute stuff. Yeah, I was playing with
Very
AI
nice.
stuff, and that's what you're seeing behind over here. That's a subject for a different conversation. The reason why, folks, you're seeing this in a weird way, you're like, hold on a second. This is here. I'm watching this now,
Yes.
but this is not live. We're not live right now, are we?
We're not.
What? We're not?
What?
We're not streaming? What's different? It's like, Raquel, where are you? Is Raquel still there? It's just Raquel's still there. She's still doing. She's still there helping us out. She was on TV, by the way, but we'll cover that later on in the discussion. But anyways, the idea is we're going to try something different. The concept is, how do you make the most of um the let's just say our show in general. I don't know how else to put it. I'm going to hit the stop sharing so we don't have the distraction of triple Larry's on the screen over here, or triple Ralph's. The concept is, if we want to get folks to participate, to be part of it, and everything else, I guess maybe the question is, for all the time that we've been here on the cloud, we've seen a lot of people come in and they do things and then they become quote unquote viral. They have their shows, they have all these hits, they have all this stuff, and some people maybe even making money on it. And it's like, well, it's not about the money, so we never really pushed it. It's mostly about getting the information out there. If we help one person out of so many, that's all fun. It's all great for us.
Yeah.
It's also, a place where we can go and make that kind of stuff happen. So it's all great. It's all fine and well. So I'm just realized my avatar is a little bit boring. I'm going to take the avatar off over here because I realize I have way more facial effects than that. So let's go to my avatar over here for just a moment, and let's.
So we're
going to
do a little navel gazing, right, and try to figure out why we're here and what we're all about.
Exactly. All right. So let's going back to it over here. So navel gazing is basically to see what is it that we should be doing. So because that's usually some of the questions in the cloud, and maybe also the reason why some folks are not exactly coming. They're coming. They want to know about cloud stuff because they want to monetize it, make money, become more popular, whatever it is they're going. And of course, there are so many sites and so many ways to get that. You can probably just put a little quick of search, and you'll find influencers and all kinds of folks to tell you how to do it. In fact, even we were mentioning at Raquel's group, right? They were going from even from her asking me, how do I have so many followers, to her way surpassing me, or at least her organization way surpassing me, and getting massive amounts of hits. They were like on TV on Indianapolis TV when they were explaining, like, well, here's our item. It's called Trapped in Anime is the name of their show. That's on Facebook and in Instagram, and you can see them, of course, in YouTube. And they came to the point where they were getting like 500,000 and plus, views and hits for that stuff. A lot of people following it. They have sometimes famous people following them and everything else, to the point where okay, this is actually in the line of what we're thinking. They don't go out there and explain how it does. They were mostly saying it's like, well, we're in Indianapolis, and yes, even in Indianapolis, we could get stuff going. It's a nice place. There's talent here. There's resources. We can do it. And in fact, she was like doing a little demo for like how to do the anime stuff that they were doing just to get them going. It's like, okay, that's a niche. And like Raquel was talking about, it's like, well, in some cases, going viral is just finding that niche to get into it. At the time for us, it was the cloud, right?
Yes.
But now everyone's doing some sort of flavor of the cloud. There was a cloud talk show that was on higher level, our level, the Andrew Connell one is the Microsoft Cloud show where they really got into heavy duty stuff, and it was a pure podcast, no pictures, just put it on your listening thing, and you can drive and not have to be distracted and everything else, and you can watch it. Great show, covered a lot of great information. You couldn't go click on any links on it because it's a podcast, but the podcast would be hosted somewhere where you would have all that kind of information that'd be quite useful. All right, so we have quite a bit of useful information. Sometimes I've actually referred, I will say, clients and other people in the community. We actually had a podcast on just that where we talked about it. We have links, or we demonstrated or showed something.
Right.
And then they'd have to go find it. And of course, YouTube, the way it's set up, is not exactly that friendly for looking at stuff. The believe it or not, the Chat GPT sort of helps find things a little bit faster. But putting all that stuff together, we said we can probably do this in a much more organized fashion to get more views, because what really would help, as they say, when more people participate in something, that makes it grow. If there's just a few people looking at something and try to make it better, like an open source, a few people contributing, you have so much of it. If thousands of people contributing, whew, wow, look at it improve, look at all those features, look at all that stuff. We would like to get to that. And in so doing, we're going to put poor Raquel into our gauntlet to give us some ideas on things we could do, what's available, and some suggestions on how we can perhaps make some of this stuff better. Miss, I'm not saying that there was homework. Raquel, you didn't put a PowerPoint together for this, right? It's all
No.
on the top of your head.
Yeah, it really is. Just because I had to prepare for that Indie Now interview and everything, so I'm a little.
TV show.
Yeah.
Right, but a lot of this stuff, though, you've been doing for a while now, so you sort of have an idea. And we'll be right back after these commercial interruptions. Larry, is that really you there?
I lost my.
You lost your video. I like that. That's really cool. That like went into like the when they used to like turn off the stuff over here. But anyways, so Raquel has it. Let's just say been doing this for a while now, and there are some things that when you're doing for a while, like us doing the cloud stuff all the time, we can just talk about stuff off the cuff because you're actually doing it. So, Raquel, where would be the first place? And so the first one that she suggested, well, do you have to do it live all the time? Because when you're doing it live on an exactly going through it, there isn't there's very little opportunity to clean stuff up. You're pretty much caught with what you've got, and you're live. So let's just say the perils of live TV is still the same. Is this still the same thing that you would run into? Like right now, for example, Larry's having technical difficulties, but Raquel may have, and I'm just suggesting that she could have caught a still from you and just simply stuck it in there. And then all this time when I was saying there was technical difficulties, Larry's face was showing, but strangely unanimated, or animated, but in silent mode. So it looked like he was moving his head and everything else, but she just looped it or something like that. There's the first suggestion. Should we do live? If we're doing live, it'd be great if folks were in. But I'm going to take this one. Raquel actually gave me this concept as an idea, and in fact, I see this happen with the conferences like Collab 365 and some of the other ones. They will have the recorded presentations. They will present them in a live situation. In other words, the folks will come to the conference, pay their fee to go see it. Maybe they come to a Teams meeting or something like that, and then they will watch it. But it's just a recording playing back. Meanwhile, the actual speaker is available in the chat, can ask questions.
Right.
And it's almost like that's me talking, but me also answering your questions or
Oh,
adding.
And you avoid the wrath of the demo gods in that
Exactly.
way.
The demo god's wrath is avoided. The speaker is actually available to talk to you and answer you live in real time, and maybe even a team of people. In fact, a lot of Microsoft's lessons that they give in their particular event system is the case of like, here's the lesson plan, and here's a small team that's actually supporting your answer. So whatever questions you have, they're the actual experts, not presenter types to actually answer your stuff. So we could do that. For example, we could have a recorded version of ourselves, and then when it's live streaming time, we're over there on the chat, watching the chat, and there chatting around, going and going back and forth. So, folks listening to this, if that sounds like something that's interesting, or would you prefer, it's no fun unless it's live. We want death on the screen. For all those about to podcast, we salute you. Do they want to see the blood and gore, or is it okay? As they say, if we put the blood and gore on the on the factory floor, blood and gore on the factory floor.
That could be a good song.
That could be a good song.
We can ask Chat GPT to write us a country song.
Now, yes, we could go there. Before that, though, Raquel, the suggestion over there, does that make sense? The idea of record and then be there live, or is it the case of like when you've seen this done before, the person just simply plays the live version, or rather, what is it called? It's called a release in YouTube or something like that, or a premiere.
Yes, it's called a premiere.
Okay, so a premiere in YouTube is basically I've recorded it and it shows for the first time. And I believe that's the sort of thing that gets a notification for those who subscribe that this thing is now available. And then people will come see it. But then people will come see it. It's not exactly live. They're watching it on their own as a recording, right?
Yeah, it's like a movie premiere almost.
Okay.
So you watch it for the first time. Everyone sees it for the first time. And then after, it's just available for everyone.
All right. So here's a couple of other things that could also work when we do it recording. So sometimes, right, you're coming to this recording. What's Ralph and Larry going to talk about? We don't tell you. Sometimes we're just coming up with this stuff.
Well, yeah, and sometimes we don't know.
Sometimes we don't know. Sometimes we'll announce somebody like, hey, next week will be this guest over here, and we're going to talk about this. Or I'll say, Ralph's going to have these toys for sure next week. Let's go. We're going to be covering this. Or sometimes maybe we might have been on a kick that said, well, like when we had Ralph's Money, there was always the Ralph's Money segment, and then we went on to something else. So we'd have like a set piece of stuff. Right now, because of that, we could now have a set piece of stuff. So we could actually now build our podcast to have certain things that we do different, the same every time, and then have our open discussion side. That ability is another suggestion. And then the other one is we can take snippets of what we do. Raquel, what did you call it? When you take a snippet of something and you want to put it out so that you can tease somebody on Twitter or on, the Bird app or Instagram or anyone else, and like something as short. And I mean, maybe even TikTok, to go in and we just want people to come to the show, but it's like sort of like a preview of the show. What do they call that again?
Name for it? I mean, it could be a teaser, Twitch talk. It's like just clipping it, a clip of something. Okay. Yeah, so you're just taking a small segment and then making that its own video. People do that a lot with their live streams, especially, and put that on TikTok or YouTube for everyone to see and bring their content to, other people that are not on their platform.
Oh, okay. So we could take some of our snippets or our best of moments and actually start putting them now in some of these other mediums. All right.
Exactly.
How do we get people to come back to like the main area or to see the main area? Can we embed links or anything like that? Is that something that we can do?
Yeah, pretty much. You have a link in bio situation. So for TikTok, Trapped in Anime has a link tree kind of thing going on. You click it, and then you see all the stuff that you want them to see.
I use that.
Exactly.
Link tree, love that.
So Linktree is a good one. That's a good. I think we actually showed that off at one time. It's one of the cloud services that are out there for a given name. So, but how would they click on it? Would they, if it was say on the Instagram over here, is that in your bio? They have to go and look at your name to see it, or on the video itself? like sometimes I see like they say
Embeds.
click here, embeds, or is that only in YouTube that have that?
So mostly in YouTube, anything say Instagram, you can't click it unless it's an ad. So unless you promote it as an ad, they'll be able to click it. So yeah, they would have to go to your page to go to that other page.
Can we put ads? Can we make ads on our own, ads to ourselves? Is that possible?
I think technically yes. So Facebook for sure, you can boost a post or something like that. I think if you make it specifically like you are an advertiser, you could have people click it. But that is more money you're throwing into it. You can honestly just tell people link in bio.
Yeah. You have to pay for that. So to advertise, you have to pay.
Yes.
Well, that sort of makes sense. Yeah, so that would make sense.
I'm concerned though, if we condense our show down to just the real, talk, that there won't be anything left. Because I mean, come on,
what's left of the show after all those small bits? Yeah. Right. So sometimes we drone on. That's true, and we're done. It's like there's all the stuff that we drone on about. We have to keep the drone on stuff. That's got to stay there.
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. We do have occasional nuggets that would, I think, make good shorts and good little videos, vignettes that we could put out. So yeah,
all right, but this sounds though labor intensive though, Raquel.
It does.
So the reason why, part of the reason why we have Raquel to doing some of this stuff is because when we tried to do it ourselves, some folks who've seen us when this started, we had like a whole show where the first half hour no one could hear Ralph at all. And it was like it's all going on. Had no idea my sound wasn't going through because I was doing the streaming and the thing, and then didn't know that the whole time I was not being recorded. Oh, it was a very sad thing. Raquel is there to catch those issues. Now, I'm not sure that our AI masters are going to be able to help us any better with that. I am seeing that now there's apps and Teams that allow you to podcast. So you click on the app and it's a podcasting, and then you put in the URL of where you're going to point to. And you can point to LinkedIn, you can point to YouTube, but you can only point to one thing, not more than one thing. So again, we're back in the same boat of if you had to do multiple stuff, and then then we're back to the same case that I'm streaming, right? But for us, streaming live, yes, is that worth it? My suggestion is like if we stream live, it's like a big enough show where we have people that we know are coming. Right, then it's a good idea to stream live because then we have an audience that's been set up. But that's not really our format anyway. Our format is to inform and to have the, how do we say it, the memories of the fact that we've informed you. You come back anytime you want to go back and look at the stuff. So the live streaming to that doesn't make sense. The concept of recording and making the bits makes sense. So the question, Raquel, is if we had to make those snippets and bits, how much work is that? Or is that something where you can say, well, hey, I can make more money, Dad, this particular way? Is that a lot of work, or is that like I don't know, hours of work to do, or is that the thing that when you give it to someone, they charge you something flat to get it done, or is it something that folks can do if they spend so many hours to do it?
So here's the bottom line. Right now, It doesn't make any sense to live stream when there's no audience in the chat talking. So for us to get that audience, we need to put out some of these shorts to entice people to come back to the live stream. So we don't have to have every single segment as a clip or a reel or something. We can just do a few as a teaser and bring them back.
Got it.
For editing live streams, it depends how much work you want to be done. Do you want special effects? Do you want sound effects? Do you want these or that graphics? It kind of depends, but I would say it would take maybe a couple hours to go through the whole thing and make sure everything is clean cut, because I want to make sure that all this information that goes to the audience is presentable and very clearly understood. So I want to do as much of a good job as possible.
Okay. So that sounds like a reasonable thing to do. The idea again is to take the time to put in the bullets that come in when we start going through stuff, and some things get bulleted that you can now put later after post fact as you're going through. But you still have to take the time to listen in and go through it. Maybe the AI can help you one day to say, hey, watch the stream and give me the bullet points. Or, look at the transcript and find the bullet points that are mentioned on this area. So that's something cool. So right now, even on mine, I get transcripts on stuff. What we can probably do on our side is record when we're doing our recording. We should record transcripts. That way,
Yes.
Raquel can have actually the script to see where the stuff is.
And you can run the transcript through sentiment analysis, and it could pull out the most common topics that were spoken about. And there's some things that AI can do, but yeah, it really is going to come down to people.
Interesting.
We're not there yet. Or at least I don't know.
We're almost there. So
yeah, we're getting
I like the idea now of getting it recorded and then publishing later. Then Raquel can make it look clean. So that's the first thing that we're going to accomplish. The second thing is now, Raquel, as you start watching through this stuff, we got to try to find, and maybe we can go look at some of the older YouTubes. Perhaps let's start looking through, and maybe that'll be our assignment, yours and I's, Larry. We'll go through and let's look for some, interesting moments. Give Raquel a list and say, make teasers for this. And then we got to figure out now where does this stuff go to get people to show up? YouTube is not exactly a place it's not exactly like a social media, right? Where you put something and everyone sees it. Like a big feed, right. like a case of a Twitter or a case of an Instagram. Even Instagram. Is Instagram more like a feed thing? I would say Instagram, Facebook. Oh, Raquel is raising her hand. What you got?
Okay, so basically, YouTube is more about the recommendations. You want to show up on someone's recommended feed. Okay. Or yeah, what you want for YouTube is great thumbnails and great titles to explain your content.
Okay. Yes. Explain the concept of the thumbnails.
When you see like a preview of a video on the side without clicking it, you'll see something that very much catches your eye. So okay. I'm kind of going into clickbait here, but you want something that's going to entice the viewer to click on that.
Yeah. Going like that or something. Here we go.
Exactly.
All right, there we go.
So it's a still image to showcase what your video is about. There is technically a YouTube recommended feed whenever you go just to the YouTube page for anyone.
We also, one of the things that we're not really good at, I will admit, is that we're not really good at YouTube pacing, right? At having the setup and then the delivery of the information at a set sort of period.
Yeah, no worries. All this extra stuff that you're mentioning in between, by the way, that is good for live streaming, does not have to be applicable when I'm editing these videos. I can just get straight to the point. I can clip whatever in between, all the important information stuff that you want to mention, so you don't have to feel like you have to explain to the audience what's going on. So any sort of cuts like my cat coming in and meowing at me, those are a thing of the past. No more kitty cat meows.
All right. So yes. Thumbnails with description. So that's the YouTube style. So we were talking about how do we get people to get going. So it's about thumbnails and getting recommendations from other people's feeds. Mm-hmm. So we would have to try to let's just say bug other people. Say, hey, give us a shout out, or maybe go on other people's shows.
Okay, so this would definitely be a very good idea to be on other people's shows it's like a cross-pollination thing going on. You're going to them and they're going to you. It's just a great share of communities. So that's the YouTube side of things. But Cloud Talk Show's probably got to be brought to these other platforms like possibly Instagram, Facebook. Those are the two that Trapped in Anime knows the best. And we're also on TikTok. TikTok, honestly, if someone looks up or follows a hashtag about cloud stuff or ChatGPT, we can use those hashtags to our advantage. Tag our videos, our shorts with that, and it'll show up on their recommended stuff. The For You page.
That's what I mean about the big feed. So we can tag. They're much easier to tag to people to find it and put everything else. That part, though, I totally agree with. Now, as far as TikTok, for some people, it's like, oh, TikTok for whatever reason. Here's something quite interesting, especially in our field. There are some folks that are doing cloud stuff at the high level that are doing TikToks. All right,
exactly
the TikTok thing. Oh, TikTok, but they're actually doing it at that level. Right. They're doing it in Instagram, right? They're doing it in Facebook for sure. They're doing it. What other? Oh, Twitch, of course.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
well, Twitch is different. That one's just specifically live streaming.
That's mostly live streaming. So Twitch is
just
not any recording at all. So okay.
Just that, and then you can view clips of the live stream.
They are live streaming in that, just like I've seen them live streaming in LinkedIn lately. I'm not sure if you've seen those, Larry. They'll show up on our feed, and like somebody has started the video. It says someone has started the video on your LinkedIn that's on your famous list. And in our case, for example, my Microsoft people that I deal with, for example, are on there because LinkedIn does have a streaming thing. I'm getting the impression
that might not be a bad that might not be a bad venue.
That might be the venue we should look into heavily. Actually, Raquel, you guys should probably look into that on the business side.
For us, it's all about. I mean, really, it's that consultant answer that we've had for years and years. We meet the clients where they are, and people are on Twitch. They're on TikTok. They're on Facebook.
Right.
So we need to go to
these places,
consumers,
which means we need to set up. Okay, so we have a YouTube page. We got that.
Yes.
We got a regular web page, which for good or ill is old. There.
Yeah,
it's good.
It needs to be updated, but it's there. It's a backup for stuff. But really, we should be as the LinkedIn tree should be pointing to the social media places to go see to get these things.
Yes.
Which means a separate account for the Instagram, likely, a separate account for the LinkedIn. This is our homework, how to figure it out. A separate account for Instagram, for the LinkedIn, for Facebook. Not Twitch. I guess Twitch is for live streaming, so we don't have to worry about that one. And what else did we say? I know we can do a Twitter one easily, but that one is like. Yeah. The bird is sort of losing its flair a little bit. We might still do the bird anyway because there's still a lot of people over there, so we might still have to do the bird.
Yes.
Which means other of the related ones that are close to the big apps. So whatever as they say, Meta folks are doing, which is Facebook and Instagram, then maybe like Threads or one of those would probably be the logical step after that. But of course, we can't all do this all at once because this is time consuming.
Yes.
We just have to have our homework. So, folks, you're going to watch us evolve slowly into these areas. And then after that, what are the other incentives? You know what I've seen, Raquel? I've seen other places like say, hey, yeah, the fifth subscriber or the 100 subscriber is going to get $1,000. Whoa, or something, or some sort of prize. Is bribery really a thing, or do you guys don't bribe anyone to get people to come see you, right?
Correct.
Okay, but I've seen those. There's like the ones like Rafi will watch those. Like there's this artist guy in California. He like not draw. He would like paint or do customizations of not anime of like he'll take a pool, empty it out, and they'll do art all over it. They'll get a whole bunch of people. They will get subscribers to come in to join them in all this stuff, and then they will have like a $1 million prize for something. Or someone to give some best thing, and I'm seriously $1 million freaking prize. I'm like $1 million. Then you look over here and you see his user count's like 12 million, and he's got advertising from all these people. So yeah, I understand you.
It's a snowball effect, right? First, you have to get 100 before you can get 1,000. Before you can get,
right.
And once you get 1,000, then you can start giving away $10 because you're making. You're 50.
Making 50. So here's the next question, Raquel, is like when it comes to monetization, which is the only in our particular case, other than becoming a charity and getting people's stuff, because we only have so many resources that are limited, and I'd rather pay Raquel before I send money out, right? Or as they say, and of course, Larry will not talk about where Larry is on the case of the money. What is the monetization situation? Are you able to monetize what you guys are doing right now, and how does that work?
So I'm not sure how much I can say because I don't want to spread all the secrets, but here's the basic thing of it. So
basic things. Yes,
like places like YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook have like creator programs and stuff like that.
Okay. That's what I've been hearing about, that creators. They're calling them creators now.
Yes, so people who produce content online, basically creators. there's different way to be monetized. You can do it through watch hours here on YouTube and having a specific amount of like a subscriber goal. For TikTok, they have a creator program. I think it's if you post a video over a minute. They're trying to promote longer videos there now. You can also garner some money from that, but there's also brand deals. So if ChatGPT wanted to sponsor you, I would take that deal. It all depends on your niche. So there's so many advantages to like the tech industry and the stuff that you guys are doing that's going to be individually perfect and unique for you guys. So play to the strengths, basically.
Okay. So the idea though is like if you wanted to monetize in the case of YouTube, do you have to apply to get the monetization, or you have to hit a threshold to do that in the case of YouTube?
So it actually is a little similar with Twitch a little bit. So both of them, you have to hit a threshold, and then you go through whatever documents, all that kind of tax stuff later. But you have to hit that threshold first. There's two different ways for YouTube.
So you hit the threshold, and then you go to a link and say, "Hey, I'm doing this," or do they come to you and say, "Hey, we noticed that you had 1 million hits. You probably want to do this"?
Yes, brands will come to you if they see you have an audience that they can.
That makes sense. The brands will find you. Then that's the obvious one. It's like I call it the Van Halen way. Van Halen was like a party band in LA for the rich kids doing their stuff. They didn't care about nothing. They were having fun playing. And then one of the record execs saw like a house party with like 1,000 people over there going crazy. Doing all the Hollywoody things, which I won't mention, and then he basically said, "Dudes, you should have an album, whatever, right?" And then Van Halen, boom, right.
So if you build it, they will come.
If you build it, they will come. Yes.
Van Halen was an overnight success after 10 years of work.
After like so many years being in the circuit or doing all that stuff, Huey Lewis in the band, we're really aging ourselves, is the case of like 30 years in the business. And then literally towards the end, so they were all like really experienced and everything else, doing weddings and everything else. And all of a sudden they were able to make a hit. We don't want to hopefully wait that long. We've been around a while as it is, but we don't have to necessarily wait that long. So that's attracting the brand. But I was asking if the platforms themselves alert you. Like, will YouTube say to you,
I don't think they're going to say.
Maybe you should look into or try to sell you their programs
if I look in
an area.
So I looked at the Cloud Talk Show channel.
Yeah.
And right now we have 36 subscribers. For us to get to the next level, we need to get 500 subscribers.
Aha. Oh, so it's written somewhere.
Yes.
There's a page. 0 video uploads in the last 90 days. We need 3. And one of the following, either 3,000 public watch hours or 3 million short views in the last 90 days.
Interesting. So these targets we could achieve by doing the short clips, and as far as the uploads, we could achieve by essentially doing what we're doing right now, which is essentially packaging something like this. And for example, if we split this into 3, there's 3 uploads right off the bat.
Right. Well, but they need to be quality. They've got to,
obviously.
Yeah, it's.
Well, what's the quality? How does it measure quality? Because
it's the number of hours watched. So in the last year, we've had 18 public hour watches. So we've had 18 hours of watching, and we need 3,000 in the last year. So I mean, it's certainly doable.
It's certainly doable. So those are tiny numbers because we're not pushing, we're not doing anything. So these are we're being frank about our numbers because anyway, user right now watching can go and see it. And if you're here, you're one of the very few that gives us those hours. Thank you so much. Consider yourself a founder. Do tag us because we will. If we become rich and famous, we will remember our friends, or at least use the AI to find you. Whatever happens over there. But absolutely. So that would be the next.
The next level up would be 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watches or 10 million views. They've got it all listed, and it's a way to monetize your platform just in this the one that we're in right now, right?
Mhm.
The other ones are going to have different numbers,
Right.
and it comes down to being consistent and putting out content. And I agree. It's about, instead of, what we've been doing is we've been kind of shooting bullets. We've been shooting a rifle in the dark. Now
Yeah.
it's time to get a shotgun, right?
and aim at
and
something.
aim and get some lights. Yeah.
Got it. All right. So we're gonna make the most of it, and that will be our plan. We'll start as soon as next week. I'm not sure. Well, we're gonna package this show together as a single, I think, right now. All right. Okay, Raquel. We'll package this and then remove the stuff that's secrety or kitty or whatever that may have come in the way. It'll be a package. All right. And then so then Raquel will have to give me like a different pay scale on how she needs to get reimbursed for what's going on, because Raquel's not doing this for me, because this takes time. So we take care of her. So that'll be for this, and then going forward, Raquel, start thinking about what looks good. Maybe our homework, you and I, Larry, is to figure out how our presence in these other sites are. Just put a bullets of which ones we want. Maybe you take Instagram, I take Facebook, whatever, we go through. Actually, Facebook and Instagram, do they use the same account, by the way?
I think they technically do, since it's the same company. Right. But you should also definitely consider LinkedIn.
Well, LinkedIn for sure. LinkedIn for sure. The Twitter is easy, to set up a thing. The Facebook one, like I said, if you set up a Facebook, do you have a button that says I also want Instagram, I also want Threads, or is it you have to separately apply on each?
Yeah, we'll need to figure that out.
Right.
It'll give you an option to sign in to Instagram with that account.
There we go. So, and that's how we would create our thing. So we'll look into those.
Same with Threads.
So, all right. So there's that piece. At some point, like I think the website is going to be a little bit moot at some point, but then not so much that we would retire it, but at least let's just say our impetus to have to fix it is not as high as, because now we have a @Cloud Talk Show concept. Right now, I've been telling people, when I've been linking us to us, I've been going YouTube @Cloud Talk Show. Gets you there right away. I like that. Looking for the same thing, hopefully in the other platforms as well. So there is that. Raquel will give us her pay scale for what she needs to make things happen. And what we also have to do as homework for us, it's maybe look at some of our shows recently and look for something clippy.
Absolutely.
And then just let Raquel know what those are. Give her the timestamps, and she will be our judge if it's clip worthy or not, because she'll look at it. It's like, oh, lame. No, lame. Okay, cool. We have a plan.
All right.
That's our plan, folks. You're watching it here. You were here sitting while we were putting this plan together. If anyone has any ideas, we welcome them totally. If you're going to try to sell us something about these ideas, feel free to go ahead. And if you can show us, as they say, commercial off the shelf of something that we should be looking at, maybe you could be our sponsor. I don't know, because we say nice things about people who are nice. We do.
Absolutely.
We do.
All right. Well, is that going to be it then?
That's going to be it then for now.
Bye, all.
Yes. So goodbye, YouTube premiere. Thank you. This is our first absolute YouTube premiere, and we're going to go out slowly, really slow, really slow.
Thank you for tuning in to this Cloud Talk Show premiere. This has been a behind-the-scenes episode for our YouTube viewers. Remember to like, share, and subscribe so you can stay tuned for all the latest cloud tech news with Ralph and Larry. We'll see you next time!